Hey guys, welcome back. So in my last video, I showed you guys how to put together a budget-friendly and elegant tablescape. And sticking with the budget-friendly theme, today I'm going to show you guys how you can take simple, basic foods and turn them into masterpieces. You'll see it's all about presentation and also combining the right flavors. So if you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel before you leave. So let's go ahead and get started. So here's one of my favorite things to serve at any party, whether it's last minute, a get-together, a holiday party, is a cheese board. This has a little bit of everything, and the end result is so beautiful, but the reality is it only took you minutes to put together. I like using 3 different types of cheeses, and at least one of them being a hard cheese and one a soft cheese. One of the cheeses is a cheddar because you can't go wrong with cheddar. I also selected a softer cheese, something similar to a Brie, and then the third cheese I decided to just pick something really fun for anybody that's a little more adventurous. So this is a blueberry cheese. And the next thing I like to add is some sort of olive. I feel like olives go really good with cheddar cheese. So next I add my crackers, and since I'm using 3 different types of cheeses, I went ahead and used 3 different types of crackers, and I also spread those out evenly. You'll also notice that I'm following a color scheme with my dishes as well because I want them to match the tablescape. I want everything to look cohesive. So I opted for the dark colored grapes, and I made sure to wash all of my fruit beforehand and made sure it was super dry before I added it to the cheese board. Now it's time to add the finishing touches, the garnishes and all of that. So for this softer cheese that's more like a Brie consistency, I topped it with some honey and then I garnished it with some fig. If you can't find figs at your local grocery market, you could also use red apples, blueberries. So I cut it in 4s and I placed that on top of the cheese. The last major item that I like to add to a cheese board is some sort of dipping sauce in the middle. In this case, I'm using a honey with an almond mixture, but you could also use jams, compote, any type of jelly. I think this cheese board looks awesome the way it is, but we're gonna take it over the top and finish garnishing it. So I'm taking 2 types of nuts. I'm taking pumpkin seeds and also some candied pecans, and I'm filling in those little gaps of the cheese board. We want it to just basically look like it's overflowing with goodness. At the very end, I decided to add just a sprinkle of red, so I did have some pomegranate seeds, but this part is totally optional. I would recommend right before your guests arrive to slice off the first piece on each cheese. That way your guests don't feel intimidated in serving themselves. Next up, we have these little mini hot dogs on pretzels, and these are pretty self-explanatory, but the presentation is what really takes them over the top. You're just gonna need some sort of hot dog. I decided to boil mine just because I like the clean texture, and but you could also grill these or put them in the oven beforehand and then just slice them up in half and then in half again so you get these perfectly sized little round pieces. And I'm actually doing half with just the hot dog and then the other half with pickle on it. So if you are going to do some with pickles, then just take your pickle and also slice those to the same size as the hot dogs. And then we're just going to take some of these little pretzel sticks and use them instead of chopsticks. And that is it, you guys. It is literally so simple. It'll take you under 5 minutes to make, and serve them with some sort of dipping sauce. You can make your own or buy your own. In my case, I just used a really grainy mustard. I get this from Wholefoods and it's really, really good. It's a little bit sweet and a little bit tangy, and it does have that really interesting seed texture to it, so it makes it look even more elegant. But yeah, these are just so tasty. Kids love them, adults love them, my husband loves them. Next, we're gonna make these mini tea sandwiches, which are so cute, but they're also so tasty. They're like packed with flavor. They have goat cheese, apples, and a strawberry compote. So again, this one is super simple. We're gonna start by taking our bread. You can use any bread that you like and just cut the crust off. And definitely save that crust for later. You can use that as breadcrumbs in another dish. If you don't like goat cheese, you could also use cream cheese for this. I think that would taste really yummy too. And just spread it on your bread like you normally would. And then I'm taking some apple slices. I'm using Honeycrisp because it's my favorite. And then on top of that, I'm using my strawberry compote. Now, this is a little bit different than strawberry jelly because it does have actual chunks of the strawberry. But if you can't find strawberry compote, then you can totally muddle some strawberries in your jelly and you'll get a very similar effect. And again, these will take you about 5 minutes to put together, very little time. No party is complete without some sort of dip. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make this caramel dip for your apples and pretzels. This is not my recipe. I actually found this on Pinterest but I tried it for you guys and let me tell you, it's amazing. So I'm taking 8 ounces of cream cheese, make sure it's room temperature, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, about 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, 3/4 cup of toffee bits, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we're gonna mix it all together with a blender. This really helps break up those toffee pieces so they're evenly distributed. Then I'm gonna transfer that into a bowl and then garnish it with a little bit more toffee bits. And I served it with some cold Honeycrisp apples and pretzels. And you guys, this stuff is addictive. It is so good, I couldn't stop eating it. It tastes just like a caramel apple, but it's so much easier to eat. So the last thing on today's party menu is apple cider mimosas. We're just taking some apple cider and we're going to sweeten it with maple syrup. And also I added some cinnamon to it, but you could totally skip the cinnamon, it doesn't need it. Or you could also use the cinnamon to garnish your champagne flutes. But that's pretty much it. I put this in the refrigerator, let it chill, and then right before the party, I take it out. And you guys could also spike this apple cider with vodka and then mix it with your champagne a little bit later. That would be really good too. We're gonna garnish our champagne flutes with apple slices, and you'll see I'm kind of cutting it at an angle so that they stay kind of slanted on the glass and they're not in your way when you're trying to drink. And I just think it looks so pretty. I also added some lemon juice to the apple slices so that they don't turn brown and they stay nice and pretty all night long. For those of you that are pregnant like I am, you can mix the apple cider mixture with club soda, or you could use a non-alcoholic sparkling wine. If you guys want to see how I put together the tablescape, then definitely check out yesterday's video. It will be linked in the info box for you guys. I hope you subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.